All right, the question of the day being, are the Steelers capable and are they going to go 16 and 0? Those are two completely different questions, and I hope to answer both of them, and I'll show you why I believe this is a possibility. With the only undefeated team left in the NFL, we got Pittsburgh with the easiest schedule in the league. Honestly, I saw this many years ago. This schedule looks so easy. It is easy. They play the NFC East, the worst division I've ever seen in my life. Lucky right there. They also play the AFC South, and that division's also not good. They do have the Titans and Colts, but besides that, they already beat the Titans, and the Colts, they're later in the season. We're just going to see what happens at that game. So the first question I want to address, are the Steelers capable of going 16 and 0? I'm not going to talk about their games right now. I'll talk about that later. But we got to talk about this team. Is this team good enough to win every game on its schedule? And the answer to that question is yes, because they are the best team in the NFL. They are capable of winning every game they play. Debatably, the Chiefs are better than them, but they don't play the Chiefs in the regular season, so that doesn't matter. And the rest of their schedule looks pretty simple, except for a couple games that we are going to talk about. So why is this team capable of winning every game? Why are they the best team in the NFL? Let's talk about the defense first of all. It's the best in the league. It's the best passing defense in the league, and they have the best defensive line. So if you have two of the best defensive parts in the league, including the rushing defense and the passing defense, if you're number one in both those categories, you already know. Like, this defense is elite. It's the best in the league. You can't deny those facts. Their defensive line is, putting up crazy numbers against the run. They're not allowing a lot of rushing yards. They did against the Ravens. But every other game, it's crazy how good they're playing against good running backs. In their secondary, they're not giving up good plays. They're not giving up big plays. And they're not allowing teams to score a lot of points. With the many talented players, a lot of Pro Bowlers on this defense, including Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Bud Dupree, they'll definitely all be in the Pro Bowl. Stephon Tuitt, that's all part of the defensive line. And of course, Vince Williams, all monsters in that aspect of the game, along with their secondary, including Joe Hayden, Minka Fitzpatrick, Steven Nelson. It's just legendary. And Robert Spillane, that was the only question I had with his defense. Is he going to play good? The answer is he is playing good. He had that pick six. He's playing like a veteran. But the Steelers did trade for Avery Williamson from the New York Jets. Dude went from 0-8 to 7-0. But, I don't know how good he is. We're just going to have to see what happens. I've heard that he was one of the best on that Jets team on the defense, of course. That will fill in the Devin Bush gap. And this team's defense is super elite. Now, with this team's defense playing good, is their offense good enough to win them games? The answer is yes, obviously. They're 7-0. We looked at this defense last year. It debatably was playing better last year. It's still really good. But their offense was so bad with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges that it didn't win them games. But with Big Ben back, with Chase Claypool and Eric Ebron added to the lineups, and James Conner running the football better, this team is a very good offensive team. Big Ben's passing yards, his numbers don't look elite. They're not even the best in the league. They're literally ranked 26th in the league. It's not good. But you look at the Steelers' offense, and they're 5th in scoring. They are 5th in scoring. And the reason why is because their defense allows them to get short red zone trips. They don't have to go all the way down the field to score. And that's why this team's good. But if the Steelers were on their own 8-yard line and they had to go 92 yards to score a touchdown, we've seen they are capable of doing that. Chase Claypool is definitely one of the best rookie draft picks this season. He's the reason why their passing game is so elite, because it just leaves Juju, Deontay Johnson, Ebron, McDonald, James Washington. It just leaves them all open. So Big Ben has so many receivers to throw the football to. That's why this offense is elite. And it scores a lot of points when they're in the red zone. But like I said, they are 5th in scoring in the NFL. yet their passing yards are low. They're like 26th, and their offense is ranked 26th, but it doesn't matter because they can score, and their defense gives them good turnover on possession. It's a good thing for them. So yes, this team is capable of winning because of both sides of the football, and that is why this team's undefeated right now. So this team is capable of winning every game, but the second question of the day, are they going to go 16-0? The first thing I just want to point out, like I've already said, their schedule is the easiest schedule in the league, and that's the only reason why this video is even possible to make, because their schedule is so easy, and it's like it's not even funny how easy it is. It's not even funny. It's ranked the first easiest schedule in the league, and like I said before, they play the Eagles, the Washington football team, the Cowboys, and the Giants, all disappointing teams, all losing record teams. And they're already 2-0 against those opponents. Also play the Titans, they already beat them. The Jaguars are horrible. Texans already beat them. And the Colts at home, which is another good team. They play the Broncos and the Bills. Already beat the Broncos and the Bills. It's a good opponent. Along with their division rivals, the Cleveland Browns twice, the Bengals twice, and the Ravens twice. So, if you look at your screen right here, you will see the rest of the Steelers' opponents for the remainder of the year, the remaining 9 games they have to play, and the percentages, the likelihood that they're going to win. We see that there's only one game they're not projected to win, and that's the Baltimore game at home. This doesn't really make sense to me why they're projected to lose this game, but 48%, it's basically 50-50. The Ravens and the Steelers are both really good, but they already beat the Ravens week 8, and this is a home game for the Steelers. I don't understand the logic in that pick. I don't understand the logic in the percentages, but we look at the rest of these games, they're projected to win every single one of them. Looking at the schedule, week 9, this week, they play the Cowboys. The Cowboys are debatably the worst team in the NFL. Horrible offense, horrible defense. Should be an easy win on the road. And then they play the Bengals at home the following week. The Bengals are playing good. Their offense is playing good. But you already know, the Steelers never lose to the Bengals. They're definitely better than the Bengals. I think they're going to win that game too. No doubt about that one. And then the following week, they go on the road to play the Jaguars. One of the worst teams in the AFC. Is currently week 8, week 9. And they have a 1-7 record. So this team, obviously not good. The Steelers are definitely going to beat Jacksonville. Not a good team. Yeah, so I bet 99% of people agree that the Steelers are going to win the next 3 straight games against the Cowboys, Bengals, and Jaguars. But then, Thanksgiving night, this is the hardest game, second hardest game of their season. Maybe the hardest. The second hardest would also be the other Ravens game that they played. But once again, they play the Ravens Thanksgiving night, prime time, in front of the whole world to see. Lamar Jackson definitely made a lot of mistakes in the first matchup. The turnovers lost the Ravens the game. We're going to have to see if this is a different outcome. But I honestly think Pittsburgh should win this game. They're at home. They're better than the Ravens. They already beat them. They have a better defense, and their offense is playing better. The thing about the Ravens is that they can run the ball really well, and they did expose the Steelers. But the Steelers' defense ain't allowing Lamar to throw the football, and that's why he lost the game for them. Because when Lamar did throw the football, they were just turnovers, incomplete passes, horrible throws, and that's why the Steelers beat the Ravens. I expect that to happen again. I expect the Steelers to win this game. This is 50-50. Nah, it's more like 60-40. I think the Steelers should win this one. But if they don't, then this video is going to end here. But I genuinely believe they should beat the Ravens at home. So next week they have another home game against the Washington football team. Another disappointing team. They should win that game. And then the following week, debatably the hardest game on their schedule. Obviously the Ravens game's harder, but they got the Bills. They got the Bills on the road. But even though the Bills have a good record at this point in time, I think they're an overrated team. They have one of the best records in the NFL, 6-2. Yet some of the games they played in were mediocre wins over The second time they played the Jets, that was mediocre. They couldn't even score a touchdown. They played the Patriots, and they almost lost at home to the Patriots, a 2-5 or 2-6 Patriots. That's embarrassing. They lost to the Chiefs and the Titans, and those are good teams. So I expect the Steelers, a good team, to beat the Bills. A team that already beat the Titans. The Titans beat the Bills. Theoretically, the Steelers should beat the Bills. In the 2 games the Bills lost, they couldn't run the football. They also had trouble against the Patriots. I mean, they didn't really, but if the Bills can't run the football, then they lose the game. And look at that, the number 1 defensive line in the NFL. The Steelers should win this game just because it'll limit Josh Allen to throw the football to only Stephon Diggs, which will be covered the entire game by Joe Hayden or Steven Nelson. Micah Fitzpatrick might eat up, might get a couple of picks. Expect the Steelers to win this one. If they win all those games in a row, which I think is a very nice possibility, they will currently be 13-0. And then, the sad part is that Kansas City, man, they have the capability of going 15-1. They already lost a game. But Kansas City's so good, they can win any game they play in. The remaining games for Kansas City that are actually competition are at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and at the New Orleans Saints. So considering that both of those teams are good, I think Kansas City is going to end the season with a 14-2 or 13-3 record. So every win counts for the Steelers this year. But after going on the road to play the Bills, they have to go on the road once again and play the Bengals. This is Monday Night Football for the 3rd straight year in a row. They always beat the Bengals for some reason, every time. I think they haven't lost to the Bengals since 2016, maybe 2015. They just always outplay them. But this is a different quarterback, a different team. Joe Burrow's a monster, and it is in Cincinnati. The Bengals, I think they might upset, but I doubt it. Obviously, Pittsburgh's the better team, and they should win this game. And then, probably the 3rd hardest game on their schedule, the home against the Colts. Actually, that's probably the 4th hardest game on their schedule. The Titans game was harder, but the Colts at home, it's going to be a good game. The Colts, for me, 50-50. At this point in time, they could have 2 or 3 losses. At the same time, they could have 5, 6, or 7 losses, which I think is more reasonable. But we're just going to see what happens. If the Colts are good at this point in time, it's going to be a challenging game. If they are, choking games, losing games, I think the Steelers should easily win this one. But I'm just going to assume that the Colts are, probably 11-3, probably 10-4, or 9-5, somewhere around there. That seems reasonable to me. The Steelers are the home team. They are the better team. They should win this game. So yes, I've said the Steelers should win every game. And this is where 16-0 really comes in question, because I believe 15-0 is a very, very good possibility. I think the chances of that happening are 50%. So even if they are there at 15-0, why in the world would they start their starters week 17 against the Cleveland Browns? There is absolutely no reason to do that. Even if, the fans want the 16-0, maybe the players want it, it doesn't matter. Because why would they start their starters against the Cleveland Browns? A team that hates Pittsburgh, a team that's definitely looking to injure the Steelers players. And I say that 100% honesty. The Browns play the Steelers dirty, and it is not smart for the Steelers to start any of their starters week 17, assuming they get the first round bye. But if the Kansas City Chiefs are 14-1, which could be a possibility, the Steelers might be forced to start their starters, but I doubt it. So if the Steelers are 15-0, they're not going to win this game because they will not start their starters. Mason Rudolph is the worst quarterback in the NFL. I say that with 100% honesty once again. Mason Rudolph is a horrible player. And then they're probably benching Juju, Deontay, Claypool, probably their entire defense because they're all Pro Bowlers. So that leaves us with the horrible Cleveland Browns versus the Steelers' second stringers, third stringers, fourth stringers. I honestly believe the Steelers' third stringers could beat the Cleveland Browns, but I doubt it. I think it depends on how the Cleveland Browns finish their season. If the Browns have a shot at making the playoffs by winning this game, then they will win this game. But if they are not in playoff contention, give the Steelers a 16-0 record. But honestly, nope. The Steelers will not go 16-0 this year just because the Cleveland Browns are going to win Week 17. Yeah, I really want to see it, but honestly, with that logic in mind, it's not going to happen. And I hope you understand why. So, the Steelers, are they the Super Bowl favorites? In my opinion, I don't know. Because Kansas City is debatably better. So, whoever wins the AFC is going to win the Super Bowl. I can say that with 100% honesty for the third time. Because no team in the NFC is better than the Steelers and Chiefs. And probably the Ravens too. So, there are a lot of people, I know this because I'm a fan. And a lot of people say the Steelers, they always choke a game to a bad team. Yeah, that's true. But, in my opinion, if that were to happen, it already would have happened against, the Giants, Broncos, or Texans, or Eagles. They could have choked any of those games, but they didn't. Had strong performances, and they are here to play. They're here to win, and they're not going to choke to the Cowboys, the Bengals, the Jaguars, the football team. They're not choking those games, trust me. They're not going to. So, Pittsburgh's got a shot at 16-0, but honestly, 15-1 sounds more reasonable. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Adios.